Hey everybody, I'm Inga. I oversee the config and integrations part of our product. I'm going to give a very brief intro to our ERP integration, some of the recent developments, and then we're going to get into a wonderful demo led by Peter Maffey. To start off, let's talk about what our goal is for ERP integrations. We hope that by building out the suite of features that we can allow your teams, specifically your operations teams, to streamline their data management by connecting product data inside Higharc with your ERPs, eliminating the need for manual data entry, and reducing human error. We hope that this can allow you to use Higharc as a single source of truth and ensure that all the data that we show to your home buyers is accurate and up to date. Let's talk about the data that we're referring to and what we're going to focus on in this demo and in this session. There's some data that lives in an ERP, is authored in an ERP, and eventually should make its way back into Higharc. And then there's data that lives in Higharc, is configured in Higharc, and eventually needs to make its way back to the ERP. Some of the data that is inbound to Higharc is things like community level information, lot data, et cetera, plan information, option pricing, option descriptions, and finally item and item costs related to purchasing. Those things typically maintained in the ERP and need to make their way into Higharc. And then the things that we would send back to the ERP are things like options chosen in showroom and how specific materials from procure. For this session, we're going to focus on the sales pricing and option data import into Higharc and some of the exciting features that we've built here. The way that we're going to enable this flow of data into Higharc with a little sneak preview here is with a file-based integration. What this is a collection of file formats, CSV formats, that automatically map the column headers that you have in your ERP, such as that of, excuse me, ECI's MarkSystems - BRIX, and says this column inside MarkSystems is equivalent to this column inside Higharc, and allows you to dump that data out of your ERP and import it directly into Higharc. What we want to get out of this is, one, a simplified integration. Take all of the difficult configuration parts out of your integration and just allow you to import the file straight into Higharc. Two, for all of those folks who are in operations type roles who have to manually check data inside your ERP, compare it to Higharc, make sure everything lines up. We hope to reduce some of that manual data entry so you don't have to enter prices in 2 different places and keep your options descriptions up to date, and allow you to eliminate any of the human error that would result in having to maintain 2 single sources of truth, or 2 different sources of truth. Not single, it's exclusive. And then finally, for those of you who may not be using MarkSystems or BRIX or HomeBuilderONE, we have a Higharc native file, which allows you to import data related to options using Higharc columns and Higharc fields, or use our Smartsheets integration for those of you who may be using Smartsheets. This is a quick overview. I'm going to switch it over to Peter for the demo portion of this, and then we'll come back to talk about the roadmap.
Okay, so what we're looking at here is our showroom configurator for a single plan within our single community, this IBS demo community. And what I really want you to focus on here is a couple options that we're just going to follow along. We have specific pricing for these options for this plan in this community. And where that becomes relevant here is when you have, multiple locations with divisions, and each plan has, a dozen to 30 different options. Managing the pricing across all those different locations, different communities, and the pricing is you don't want to be doing that in multiple places, and you don't want to be doing that like in a sort of point and click interface. So what we've developed is an ability to, so this is a standard export that you would get from MarkSystems. You hit a button and these are the columns, the spreadsheet tabular data that comes out of that. And there are a couple different columns here where you have your community, your plan here, and then your price and description. And so we've developed this ability to take in any of these, any sort of structure of tabular data that your ERP could output. and then map that to Higharc data. So the first couple of these are mapped. These are the builder option codes that are mapped into Higharc. And what we're going to do is jump over into our integration section. We'll upload that CSV here. You can just kind of validate that the data is correct, and we'll start the import process. This may take a moment. So what this has now generated is actually a diff of the prices and descriptions that have changed from that CSV that was imported. So if there are things that haven't changed, you don't have to deal with that. You can just kind of isolate on the things that have changed. And so I'm noticing here that there's a typo in that description, and I want to update this is actually going to be this price. And then I want to see these were, you can highlight some of the entries that didn't change. So I'm going to come down and change this fireplace one just to update that price, because I know that that was not entered correctly in MarkSystems or something like that. So, so now that's added to what's going to get saved. We run that and then jump back over to showroom. And we'll just refresh page. And we can see now that those prices and descriptions are all updated correctly. And so, yeah, that, as Inga was saying, you know, we are, we've structured this so that we can handle a bunch of different ERP data in various structures, as well as like if you're some of our builders are managing their entire ERP data in Smartsheets with complex structures that are, you know, they have their Excel spreadsheets mapped in various ways. And so we've built a whole like mapping engine that can kind of handle however it is you structure your ERP data and import that into Higharc, so you don't have to be so you have that all synced up across all your communities and options. Yeah, back to you, Inga.
All right, so the things that Peter previewed, we didn't have time to go through every single integration, but the things that are going to be available in early access are the file import compatible with ECI's MarkSystems, BRIX, HomeBuilderONE, and like I mentioned, standard Higharc native file for builders that are, or for ERPs that are not listed here. And finally, the automatic data exchange with Smartsheets. If you're interested in them, you can reach out to your CSM and try them out. The things that are coming soon within the next several weeks to a couple of months are additional ERP compatible files for, again, ERPs not listed here. Advanced data mappings. There are some fields in MarkSystems, for instance, that refer to whether or not an item is included in a package. Fields like that will be supported as well. We're going to look into additional types of data, and finally, a very detailed historical log of those imports, so you can download what's been imported and see befores and afters. So this is just a very early preview of the short-term updates planned, but more to come for the next few months.